The Galactic Council chamber had never been so silent. Ambassador Zethkar, of the Vorthak Empire, pressed his four-clawed hands against the crystalline table, his scaled hide rippling with barely contained terror. Across from him, the insectoid delegate from Kepler 442b clicked her mandibles in what could only be described as panic. "You're telling me," Zethkar's voice cracked through his translator unit, "that the humans have sent a representative to negotiate with the Void Serpent?" Round. Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Coalition nodded calmly, her weathered face showing no trace of the fear that had paralyzed every other species in the chamber. "That's correct, Ambassador. We've agreed to the terms." The chamber erupted in a cacophony of alien languages. The gas-based ethereals pulsed angry red clouds, while the crystalline shard folk rang out like broken bells. Only the humans remained seated, waiting patiently for the chaos to subside. "This is madness!" shrieked the Kepler delegate, her translator struggling with the pitch of her distress. "The Void Serpent has destroyed entire star systems. It consumed the homeworld of the Eternal Hive. No living being has survived an encounter with that monster." Sarah leaned back in her chair, a slight smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "Well, that's where you're wrong. We have survived encounters with it. Multiple encounters, actually." The silence returned, heavier than before. Zethkar's third eye, normally hidden beneath his cranial ridge, slowly opened to focus on the human captain. "Impossible. The Void Serpent appears without warning, consumes everything in its path, and vanishes back into the dark matter streams between galaxies. No technology in known space can track it, let alone communicate with it." "You're absolutely right," Sarah agreed. "No technology can track it. But you're thinking about this all wrong. You're approaching it like a military problem, like something to be conquered or destroyed. We approached it like what it actually is." "And what?" The ethereal delegate pulsed in nervous yellow. "Is that? A very large, very lonely, very misunderstood creature that just wants to be left alone." The Kepler delegate's mandibles snapped together with a sound like breaking glass. "Misunderstood? It's a planet eater. A stellar destroyer." Sarah pulled up her tablet and activated the holographic display. The chamber darkened as a three-dimensional map of the galaxy appeared, with red dots marking every confirmed Void Serpent appearance over the past 3 centuries. "Look at the pattern," she said, manipulating the timeline to show the attacks in sequence. "Look at what it actually targets." The assembled aliens studied the display, their various forms of vision processing the data. Slowly, a pattern emerged that none of them had noticed before. "Military installations," whispered Zethkar. "Weapons platforms. Fleet staging areas. Mining operations," added the Shardfolk delegate, her crystalline voice ringing with realization. "Particularly those extracting dark matter or quantum materials." Sarah nodded. "It's not randomly destroying things. It's defending itself. Every single system the Void Serpent has attacked was either trying to track it, trap it, or harvest materials from its natural habitat. From its perspective, we've been the aggressors for the past 300 years. The ethereal delegate pulsed a deep purple that universal translator protocols marked as profound confusion. "But how could you possibly know this? How did humans discover what the greatest minds in the galaxy have failed to understand?" "Because," Sarah said, her smile widening, "we sent our most qualified diplomatic specialist to make first contact." She touched another control, and the hologram shifted to show a small human figure standing on what appeared to be a metallic observation deck. The figure was tiny, barely reaching the waist of an average human adult, wearing a simple environment suit decorated with colorful patches. "Meet Ambassador Lucy Chen, age 7, specialist in xenobiology and interspatial relations." The chamber fell silent again. This time, the silence lasted so long that several of the more anxious species began to emit stress pheromones. Finally, Zethkar managed to speak. "You sent a child? A human offspring? To negotiate with the most dangerous entity in known space?" "We sent our best diplomat," Sarah corrected. Lucy has successfully negotiated treaties with house cats, convinced vegetables to taste good, and once talked her way out of a bedtime by establishing a formal trade agreement with the Tooth Fairy. Her success rate in complex negotiations is actually higher than our adult diplomatic corps. The Kepler delegates' translation unit began emitting a high-pitched whine that indicated extreme processing overload. This is insanity. Humans are insane. Your species has finally proved that evolution on Earth produced a fundamentally broken form of intelligence. Maybe, Sarah acknowledged cheerfully. But it works. 3 days ago, Ambassador Lucy made successful contact with the Void Serpent in the Andromeda Dark Zone. They've been having regular conversations ever since. She activated another hologram, this one showing a massive serpentine form coiled around what looked like a derelict space station. The creature was impossibly vast, its scales shimmering with an inner light that seemed to bend space itself. Energy crackled along its length, and its eyes were like miniature galaxies, swirling with countless points of light. Standing next to its enormous head, looking no larger than a dust mote, was the small figure in the colorful environment suit. The entity we've been calling the Void Serpent, Sarah explained, is actually named Whiskers. It's been trying to tell us this for centuries, but we kept shooting at it instead of listening. Zethkar's fourth stomach made a sound like grinding metal, which in his species indicated either severe indigestion or complete mental breakdown. Whiskers? The destroyer of worlds is named Whiskers? Technically, the closest translation would be small soft thing that tickles when it moves. But Lucy thought Whiskers was easier to pronounce. The important thing is that Whiskers isn't malicious. It's just been defending itself from what it perceived as unprovoked attacks on its territory and food sources. The Shardfolk delegate rang like a cracked bell. Food sources? Dark matter concentrations, Sarah explained. Those mining operations weren't just extracting rare materials. They were literally taking Whiskers' food. Imagine if aliens kept stealing your lunch, and every time you tried to ask them to stop, they shot missiles at you. The hologram zoomed in on Lucy and Whiskers. The massive entity had lowered its head until it was almost touching the observation platform, and its galaxy swirl eyes were fixed on the small human figure. The breakthrough came, Sarah continued, when Lucy stopped trying to communicate through technology and just sat down and started talking. She brought a picture book about dragons and started reading to Whiskers. It turns out that despite being a universe-spanning entity of immense power, Whiskers enjoys stories. The ethereal delegate pulsed rapid flashes of confused yellow. Stories? Children's stories, specifically. Lucy has been reading to Whiskers for 3 days straight. The complete adventures of the Rainbow Dragon, The Little Star That Could, and something called Good Night Galaxy, which apparently makes Whiskers very happy. The chamber had grown so quiet that the background hum of the station's life support system sounded like thunder. Every alien representative was staring at the hologram, watching the impossible scene of a human child apparently having a pleasant conversation with a cosmic horror. According to Lucy's reports, Sarah went on, Whiskers has been alone for approximately 14 billion years. It's the last of its species, and it's been wandering the universe looking for someone to talk to. Unfortunately, every civilization it encountered either ran away, screaming, or tried to kill it. So it defended itself, Zethkar whispered. Wouldn't you? The hologram shifted to show Lucy pulling something out of a small bag attached to her suit. It looked like a simple sandwich wrapped in plastic. Lucy also discovered that Whiskers has never tasted processed food. Yesterday, she shared her peanut butter and jelly sandwich with a cosmic entity older than most star systems. Whiskers' exact words, according to Lucy's translation, were, "This tiny taste explosion makes my core warmth flutter in joy spirals." The Kepler delegate's mandibles had stopped clicking entirely. In her species, this indicated either death or complete psychological shock. Given that she was still standing, it was probably the latter. The terms of the treaty are simple, Sarah announced. The Galactic Council agrees to establish protected zones around dark matter concentrations that Whiskers uses for feeding. In return, Whiskers agrees to help defend Council space from external threats and to share its knowledge of deep space navigation and interdimensional physics. She paused, letting this sink in. Oh, and Lucy gets to read it bedtime stories twice a week. Zethkar's translator unit emitted a sound like grinding gears as it tried to process his species' expression for complete bewilderment. Bedtime stories? Whiskers gets lonely in the dark between galaxies. Lucy promised to keep in touch. They've already scheduled their next reading session for Thursday. The hologram changed one final time, showing Lucy reaching up to pat what appeared to be the tip of Whisker's massive nose. The cosmic entity's eyes swirled with gentle colors, and its enormous form seemed to relax into a posture that could only be described as contentment. The Void Serpent, Sarah said quietly. The most feared entity in known space. The destroyer of worlds and consumer of stars. Just wanted someone to be kind to it. The silence stretched on until finally, the ethereal delegate managed to pulse a weak green question mark. And the other human governments agreed to this arrangement? Are you kidding? Sarah laughed. When word got back to Earth that a 7-year-old had successfully negotiated a treaty with a cosmic entity using picture books and sandwiches, every government on the planet immediately started funding expanded childhood diplomacy programs. The University of New Geneva is already offering a degree in interspatial relations with a minor in playground psychology. Zethkar slowly lowered his head until his forehead touched the crystal table. My people have spent thousands of years developing military strategies, building weapons capable of cracking planets, breeding soldiers designed for maximum lethality. We created an entire civilization based on the concept of strength through superior firepower. He raised his head to look at Sarah. And you solved our greatest threat by having a child read bedtime stories to it. Don't feel bad, Sarah said gently. Adult humans didn't think of it either. It took a 7-year-old to look at the situation and say, maybe the big scary thing is just sad and needs a friend. The council chamber remained silent as the full implications sank in. The greatest threat in galactic history had been neutralized, not through military might, advanced technology, or brilliant strategy, but through simple kindness and the willingness to see a monster as a lonely creature in need of friendship. There is one more thing, Sarah added, almost as an afterthought. Lucy mentioned that Whiskers has some friends in other dimensions. Apparently, there's a whole community of cosmic entities that have been watching our progress with interest. Now that one of them has had a positive interaction with younger humans, the others are curious about making contact too. The Kepler delegate's translator finally gave up entirely and began emitting a sound like static. The ethereal delegates pulsed in rapid, panicked color cycles. Even the normally unflappable shard folk rang out in discord. How many friends? Zethkar asked weakly. Sarah consulted her tablet. According to Lucy's latest report, approximately 47,632, give or take a few dozen. The chamber filled with the sounds of alien panic as the reality hit them. Humanity had just opened diplomatic relations with an entire civilization of cosmic entities, and they'd done it through a 7-year-old with a bag of sandwiches and a collection of children's books. The good news, Sarah continued over the chaos, is that they all seem friendly. The bad news is that they're all apparently very excited about story time and want to know if we have any books about ponies. 3 weeks after the initial treaty announcement, the Galactic Council's emergency session had become a permanent crisis management meeting. Ambassador Zethkar had developed what human doctors called stress-induced molting, leaving scales scattered across his chair like metallic confetti. The Kepler delegate had been replaced twice after successive nervous breakdowns, and the ethereal representative had shifted to a permanent shade of anxiety purple that was starting to affect the chamber's lighting. Captain Sarah Chen remained as calm as ever, sipping coffee from a mug decorated with cartoon rockets while reading reports from her tablet. Beside her sat a new figure. Dr. Rebecca Martinez, Earth's chief xenopsychologist, and mother of 3. Status report, Zethkar croaked, his voice barely functioning through his molted throat scales. How many have made contact now? Sarah consulted her tablet. As of this morning, 47,632 cosmic entities have established formal diplomatic relations with various Earth children. The number keeps growing as word spreads through their interdimensional communication networks. The new Kepler delegate, a younger specimen whose mandibles clicked with nervous energy, leaned forward. And they're all friendly? Universally, Dr. Martinez confirmed. It appears that cosmic entities, despite their immense power and age, share certain psychological traits with Earth children. They enjoy games, stories, creative play, and most importantly, genuine emotional connection without ulterior motives, which is why adults can't communicate with them effectively, Sarah added. We're too focused on strategic advantages, resource extraction, or establishing dominance hierarchies. Children just want to make friends. The holographic display activated, showing a star map peppered with thousands of colored dots. Each dot represented a contact point, where human children had successfully initiated communication with cosmic entities. The entity known as Sparkles has been helping 8-year-old Tommy Jackson with his math homework, Sarah reported. In return, Tommy reads comic books to Sparkles and explains human concepts like ice cream and roller coasters. Zethkar made a sound like a deflating balloon. Sparkles was responsible for the temporal anomaly that destroyed the Kronos research station. Time itself unraveled for 3 light-years in every direction. Because the Kronos researchers were trying to trap it in a temporal loop to study its dimensional phasing abilities. Dr. Martinez explained patiently. From Sparkles' perspective, they were trying to cage it. Tommy, on the other hand, invited Sparkles to a virtual tea party in his backyard holographic playground. The Shardfolk delegate rang out in crystalline confusion. And this worked spectacularly. Sparkles not only attended the tea party but brought presents for all of Tommy's stuffed animals. Apparently, cosmic entities are excellent at conjuring toys out of quantum foam. Sarah switched the display to show a live feed from Tommy's backyard. A shimmering, translucent entity roughly the size of a blue whale was carefully pouring imaginary tea into tiny cups, while a small boy explained the proper way to hold a pinky finger during formal tea service. The implications are staggering. The ethereal delegate pulsed in worried yellow. These entities have power over time, space, matter, and energy. They could reshape reality on a whim. They could, Sarah agreed. But they don't want to. According to our child ambassadors, most cosmic entities are incredibly lonely and bored. They've existed for billions of years with nothing but their own thoughts for company. They're not interested in conquest or destruction. They just want friends who see them as individuals, rather than threats to be eliminated or resources to be exploited. Dr. Martinez pulled up another display showing a collection of drawings. They appeared to be crayon sketches of various cosmic entities, complete with smiling faces, rainbow colors, and glittery accessories. These are friendship portraits, she explained. Human children have a tradition of drawing pictures of their friends. The cosmic entities treasure these drawings because they represent how someone sees them when they're not afraid. For beings who have been viewed as monsters or natural disasters for eons, this is psychologically transformative. The display zoomed in on one particular drawing. A crayon depiction of Whiskers, with a party hat, and what appeared to be a birthday cake. The title, Essay, written in careful 7-year-old handwriting, read, Whiskers' Birthday Party. Lucy discovered that Whiskers had never celebrated a birthday, Sarah explained. She organized a surprise party with 12 other children and their cosmic entity friends. The celebration lasted 6 hours and involved games of hide-and-seek across 17 star systems. Zethkar's remaining scales began to vibrate, producing a sound like wind chimes in a hurricane. Hide and seek? Across star systems, cosmic entities excel at interdimensional games, Dr. Martinez noted. They can manipulate space-time for recreational purposes with precision that makes our most advanced technology look like stone tools. The key insight is that they use these abilities for play, not warfare. The Kepler delegates' mandibles had locked in what appeared to be permanent bewilderment. What other activities have they engaged in? Sarah scrolled through her tablet. Let's see. 9-year-old Emma Peterson has been teaching Shadow Weaver how to braid hair, even though Shadow Weaver exists partially outside normal space-time. 6-year-old Marcus Williams convinced Stellar Heart to help him build the ultimate blanket fort, which now spans 3 moons and includes gravity manipulation for maximum comfort. She paused at another entry. Oh, and 10-year-old Sarah Kim has been giving Novaburst cooking lessons. Apparently, creating stars is similar to baking, but Novaburst had never tried making cookies. The holographic display shifted to show a massive entity that appeared to be made of concentrated starlight, carefully following a human child's instructions for chocolate chip cookie preparation. The entity's attempts at using human-sized kitchen utensils with appendages made of pure energy was both endearing and terrifying. The cultural exchange has been remarkable, Dr. Martinez continued. Human children are learning about physics, astronomy, and interdimensional mathematics at a rate that's revolutionizing our educational systems. In return, they're teaching cosmic entities about humor, friendship, creativity, and what humans call fun. The ethereal delegate pulsed rapid flashes of concerned orange. And the other human adults? How are they responding to children commanding forces beyond comprehension? Surprisingly well, Sarah replied. Parents have adapted quickly to phrases like, "Mom, can Void Walker come over for dinner?" And "Dad, I need help explaining why humans don't eat pure energy for breakfast." Most cosmic entities are very polite houseguests, though they do tend to accidentally improve local gravitational fields and sometimes make the flowers bloom in impossible colors. Zethkar managed to speak through his molting crisis. What about military implications? Surely your governments are concerned about children having direct access to entities capable of stellar manipulation? Dr. Martinez exchanged a glance with Sarah before answering. That's actually been the most interesting development. The cosmic entities are extremely protective of their human friends. Any attempt to use the children to access entity powers for military purposes results in immediate communication shutdown. They're remarkably good at detecting adult manipulation, Sarah added. Cosmic entities exist partially outside normal time, so they can perceive intentions and long-term consequences in ways we can't. They know when adults are trying to use children as intermediaries for political or military gain. The display showed a new scene. A small human girl sitting in what appeared to be a garden that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. She was reading to an entity that looked like a living constellation, while several other cosmic beings listened quietly in the background. This is the monthly story circle, Dr. Martinez explained. 43 cosmic entities regularly attend Lucy's reading sessions. They particularly enjoy stories about friendship, adventure, and what humans call happy endings. Happy endings? The Shardfolk delegate chimed. Cosmic entities, despite their vast age and power, have difficulty with the concept of hope, Sarah explained. They've existed for so long that they tend to view existence as cyclical and ultimately meaningless. Human children's stories, with their emphasis on growth, friendship, and positive resolution, represent a completely new philosophical framework for them. The Kepler delegate finally managed to unlock her mandibles long enough to speak. What happens when these children grow up? Will they lose contact with the entities? We're not sure, Dr. Martinez admitted. But early indicators suggest that the relationships will evolve rather than disappear. The entities seem to value the growth and development of their human friends rather than expecting them to remain static. Sarah pulled up a new display showing communication logs. Some of the older child ambassadors, now teenagers, have maintained contact with their cosmic friends while developing more sophisticated relationships. 16-year-old Alex Chen, Lucy's older brother, now works with his entity friend Nebula Song on advanced physics research that's already yielding breakthrough discoveries. The entities appear to enjoy watching their human friends learn and mature. Dr. Martinez added, they find the human growth process fascinating, since they themselves exist in a relatively static state across eons. Zethkar attempted to stand but immediately sat back down as another wave of stress molting hit him. So what you're telling us is that humanity has accidentally established the most powerful military alliance in galactic history through children's playdates? That's one way to look at it, Sarah acknowledged. But it's more accurate to say we've established the first true peace in galactic history. The cosmic entities aren't interested in conquest or expansion. They're interested in friendship, creativity, and learning. They're also incredibly protective of life and actively oppose any attempts to destroy or harm entire civilizations. The holographic display expanded to show the entire galaxy, now dotted with protective zones where cosmic entities had established what they called friendship territories around systems containing developing civilizations. In the past 3 weeks, Sarah continued, cosmic entity intervention has prevented 14 potential conflicts, stopped 3 asteroid impacts, and stabilized 2 dying stars. They've also shared technology that's advanced our understanding of physics by approximately 10,000 years, all in exchange for story time and tea parties. The ethereal delegate pulsed in disbelief. And genuine friendship, Dr. Martinez emphasized. That's the key factor that every adult civilization missed. These entities don't want to be worshipped, feared, or exploited. They want to be valued for who they are as individuals. The display zoomed in on another scene. A cosmic entity that appeared to be made of living music was teaching a group of human children how to sing in harmony across multiple dimensions. The sound was indescribable but somehow conveyed emotions that had no names in any known language. The children have also introduced concepts that have revolutionized entity culture, Sarah noted. The idea of birthday parties has spread throughout the cosmic entity community. They're now celebrating not just their creation dates, but anniversary dates of friendships, successful collaborative projects, and what they call happiness events. Zethkar's stress molting had progressed to the point where his chair looked like it had been hit by metallic hail. How do we even begin to adapt to this new reality? Our entire understanding of power dynamics, military strategy, and interstellar relations has become obsolete overnight, the same way the children did. Dr. Martinez replied simply, stop thinking about entities as threats or resources. Start thinking about them as neighbors. Very powerful neighbors who happen to enjoy games and stories and friendship. The initial learning curve is steep, Sarah admitted. But the benefits are extraordinary. Crime rates have dropped to near zero in systems where cosmic entities have established friendship territories. Technological advancement has accelerated exponentially. And for the first time in recorded galactic history, there are no active military conflicts anywhere in Council space. The Kepler delegate managed to click her mandibles in what might have been thoughtful consideration. What about expansion? What happens when we encounter civilizations outside the entity protection zones? According to our cosmic friends, Sarah replied, there are similar entities in other galaxies who have been watching with interest. The friendship model is apparently spreading faster than we can track it. Several of the entities have mentioned that their cousins in far places are excited about the possibility of making their own human friends. The implications hung in the air like a cosmic revelation. Humanity had not just solved their local galactic conflicts, they had potentially established a template for universal peace through the simple expedient of treating cosmic forces as people rather than phenomena. There is one small complication, Sarah added with the careful tone of someone about to deliver significant news. Every alien representative in the chamber focused on her with the intensity of a supernova. The entities have started asking questions about other human customs. They're particularly curious about something called Christmas, and have begun requesting clarification about the logistics of Santa Claus. Lugrai. The silence that followed was so complete that it seemed to bend space-time itself. 6 months after first contact, the Galactic Council chamber had been completely redesigned. Gone were the sterile crystalline surfaces and intimidating angular architecture. In their place sat comfortable cushions, colorful rugs, and what appeared to be the galaxy's most advanced playground equipment. A massive holographic display showed a countdown timer reading 37 days until Christmas in bright, festive colors. Ambassador Zethkar had completed his stress molt and emerged with scales that had somehow turned a cheerful shade of blue-green. He was currently sitting cross-legged on a rainbow-colored cushion, helping a 7-year-old human girl named Maya explain the concept of Christmas cookies to a cosmic entity that looked like a living aurora. The transformation hadn't been limited to the council chamber. Throughout the galaxy, civilizations that had spent millennia locked in careful diplomatic protocols were learning to play interdimensional hide-and-seek with beings older than their star systems. Captain Sarah Chen entered the chamber, carrying what appeared to be an enormous wrapped present and wearing a red hat with a white pom-pom. Behind her walked Dr. Martinez, similarly attired, leading a group of 20 human children of various ages. The cosmic entities that had once been called threats to galactic security floated, shimmered, and phased into existence around the chamber, each one carefully positioning themselves to be at eye level with their child friends. "Status report," Sarah announced cheerfully, though the formality felt absurd in the current context. "Operation Christmas Miracle is proceeding ahead of schedule." Whiskers, the former Void Serpent, had coiled himself around the chamber's perimeter, his massive form somehow managing to look both cosmic and cozy. Lucy Chen sat comfortably against one of his smaller coils, reading from a book titled The Night Before Christmas, while the Galaxy Swirl eyes focused intently on every word. "The gift preparation phase has exceeded all expectations," reported Maya, who had somehow become the unofficial coordinator of interstellar Christmas planning. Stellar Heart finished knitting scarves for everyone in the Andromeda sector, though they're made of crystallized starlight and might be a little warm for some species. The Kepler delegate, who had finally adapted to the new reality by teaching her younglings to play games with cosmic entities, clicked her mandibles in amusement. "How many civilizations are participating now?" Dr. Martinez consulted her tablet, which was decorated with holographic mistletoe. 3,417 species. Across 42 galaxies. The cosmic entities have been serving as Christmas ambassadors, spreading the concept of gift-giving friendship celebration to every civilization they encounter. Zethkar looked up from his cookie explanation session. "And they all understand the concept?" "Better than we expected," Sarah replied. "It turns out that most civilizations have some tradition of celebrating friendship or expressing gratitude, but they've never had a coordinated intergalactic celebration. The entities are treating this as the universe's first official friendship holiday." The holographic display shifted to show a galaxy-wide map peppered with countless points of light, each one representing a civilization preparing for their first Christmas celebration. Some of the lights pulsed in rhythm, suggesting coordinated planning across vast distances. "The gift exchange logistics are remarkable," Dr. Martinez continued. "Cosmic entities can transport objects across dimensional barriers, so species that could never normally interact are exchanging presents. The crystalline shardfolk from the Magellanic Clouds are sending music crystals to the gas-based ethereals in Andromeda, who are responding with bottled emotional experiences." "What about species that don't have physical forms?" asked the ethereal delegate, who had taken to pulsing cheerful holiday colors. "That's where the children's creativity really shined," Sarah explained. 10-year-old Marcus came up with the concept of experience gifts for non-physical entities. The energy beings are exchanging memories, songs, mathematical theorems, and what they call beautiful thinking patterns. Lucy looked up from her reading session with Whiskers. "Whiskers is giving everyone dreams about flying through nebulae. He says it's his favorite experience and wants to share it." The massive entity's voice resonated through the chamber in harmonics that bypassed the translator and spoke directly to emotional centers. "Small friend Lucy taught me that happiness grows when shared. I wish all beings to feel the joy spirals of dancing between stars. The technological advances have been extraordinary, Dr. Martinez added. Cosmic entities have helped us develop new transportation methods, communication systems, and energy sources, all inspired by their desire to make Christmas as special as possible for their friends." The display showed what appeared to be a fleet of sleighs that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously, capable of delivering presents to any location in the universe instantaneously. They were decorated with bells that chimed in frequencies that caused nearby space to sparkle with festive energy. "Jingle bells across quantum dimensions," Sarah noted with the casual tone of someone who had adapted completely to universal impossibilities. "The entities find the sound aesthetically pleasing and have incorporated it into their faster-than-light travel mechanisms." "What about the Santa Claus situation?" Zethkar asked carefully. The entities seemed very concerned about the logistics of one individual visiting every child in the universe. End quote. Maya giggled and gestured to the gathered cosmic entities. "That's easy. They're all going to take turns being Santa Claus. Whiskers is handling the Orion arm, Sparkles is covering Andromeda, and Nova Burst volunteered for the really distant galaxies because they can travel faster. The implications of cosmic entities coordinating to play Santa Claus for every child in the known universe hung in the air like a beautiful impossibility that had somehow become reality. "They're very excited about the costume requirements, Doctor," Martinez added. "Several entities have been practicing their ho-ho-ho vocalizations, though the results tend to cause minor gravitational waves." As if summoned by the comment, Stellar Heart materialized in the chamber wearing what appeared to be a Santa hat made of condensed stellar material and a beard crafted from cosmic dust. When the entity spoke, its voice caused nearby flowers to bloom in impossible colors. "Ho ho ho, small beings. This joy celebration is most pleasing to my core essence. I have prepared gift surprises for 4.7 billion younglings across 17 galaxies." The children in the chamber applauded while the alien delegates tried to process the sight of a cosmic entity older than most civilizations dressed as Santa Claus and radiating infectious holiday cheer. "The cultural impact has been transformative," Sarah continued. "Civilizations that hadn't spoken to each other in millennia are now coordinating gift exchanges. Ancient enemies are collaborating on Christmas decorations. The eternal war between the Machine Collective and the Organic Alliance ended when both sides received friendship bracelets made by 6-year-old Emma Peterson." "Friendship bracelets?" the Shardfolk delegate chimed. "Braided string with beads that spell out positive messages, Doctor," Martinez explained. "Emma made 40,000 of them with help from the cosmic entities. The messages include things like, 'Best friends forever,' 'You are awesome,' and 'Hugs across space-time.'" The display showed images of massive war machines and bioships decorated with tiny colorful bracelets, their weapons systems deactivated as crews from both sides worked together to hang Christmas lights on their vessels. "The peace dividends are unprecedented," Sarah noted. "Military spending across the galaxy has dropped by 94%. As civilizations redirect resources toward gift production and celebration preparation, scientific cooperation has increased exponentially as species work together to create the universe's first intergalactic Christmas." Lucy stood up from her position next to Whiskers and walked to the center of the chamber. At 7 years old, she had somehow become the unofficial ambassador to 47,000 cosmic entities and the coordinator of the largest celebration in universal history. "I have an announcement," she said in the serious voice that children use for very important matters. "The cosmic entities have been talking to their friends in other universes. They want to invite them to Christmas too." The silence that followed was profound enough to affect local space-time. "Other universes?" Zethkar whispered. Whisker's galaxy swirl eyes focused gently on the assembled delegates. "There are many song spaces beyond this dance of stars. Many friends who have never experienced small being kindness. They wish to learn about gift-giving and joy-sharing." "How many other universes?" Dr. Martinez asked, with the careful tone of someone preparing for another paradigm shift. "All of them," Lucy replied cheerfully. "Every universe that exists, ever existed, or ever will exist. They're all invited to Christmas." The cosmic entities have been spreading the word across infinite realities. The holographic display expanded beyond the galactic map to show what appeared to be an infinite web of interconnected realities, each one now connected by streams of communication carrying news of the universe's first multiversal Christmas celebration. "The logistics are actually pretty simple," Maya added helpfully. "The entities exist across multiple dimensions anyway, so coordinating between universes is just like coordinating between galaxies, except more." Sarah set down her wrapped present and surveyed the chamber full of cosmic entities wearing Santa hats, alien delegates sitting on rainbow cushions, and children casually discussing the organization of multiversal celebrations. "So let me make sure I understand," she said slowly. "Humanity has accidentally created the first multiversal civilization based on Christmas celebrations and cosmic entities playing Santa Claus for every child across infinite realities." "That's right," Lucy confirmed brightly. "And everyone's invited, even the scary dark universes where nothing good ever happens. The entities think Christmas might help them learn about happiness." Zethkar attempted to stand, remembered he was sitting on a cushion, and decided to remain seated. "What about the entities that don't understand friendship?" The ones from realities where cooperation doesn't exist? Those are the ones who need Christmas most. Emma Peterson replied, entering the chamber with a cosmic entity that appeared to be made of crystallized time. This is my new friend Temporal Echo. They're from a universe where nothing ever changes, so they've never experienced surprise or joy before. We're going to teach them about presence. The entity called Temporal Echo shimmered with patterns that hurt to look at directly, but somehow conveyed deep gratitude. When it spoke, its voice seemed to come from yesterday and tomorrow simultaneously. Small friend Emma has shown me concepts that do not exist in my song space. The idea of surprise has created new harmonics in my essence. I wish to share this gift feeling with all beings across all possible realities. The Multiversal Christmas Preparation Committee meets every Tuesday, Maya announced. We're currently working on Christmas carols that can be sung across dimensional barriers and cookie recipes that work in universes with different physics laws. Dr. Martinez looked at her notes, which had long since become meaningless in the face of such impossibilities becoming routine. The children have also proposed establishing permanent cultural exchange programs between universes. Summer camps, where kids from different realities can learn about each other's physics, biology, and friendship traditions. Interdimensional summer camp, Sarah repeated slowly. Of course. It's going to be so much fun, Lucy exclaimed. Kids from the universe where everything is made of music can teach singing, and kids from the universe where math is alive can help with homework, and kids from the universe where gravity works backwards can show everyone how to play upside-down tag. The gathering had evolved beyond any recognizable diplomatic protocol. Cosmic entities older than galaxies were learning Christmas carols from human children, while alien ambassadors coordinated gift exchanges between civilizations that existed in entirely different realities. The chamber filled with the sound of interdimensional jingle bells, multiversal laughter, and the gentle hum of universal peace spreading across infinite realities. There is one small detail we should address, Sarah said, remembering her role as an adult in this impossible situation. What happens after Christmas? What do we do with a multiversal civilization built around holiday celebrations? Lucy and Maya exchanged the look that children share when adults ask obvious questions. Then we start planning for New Year's Eve, Maya announced. Temporal Echo says there are universes where time runs backwards, so we can celebrate all year long. And Valentine's Day, added Emma. The entities want to learn about heart-shaped cookies and love letters. And Easter, Lucy chimed in. Whiskers is really excited about egg hunts across multiple galaxies, as the implications of a permanent multiversal civilization dedicated to celebrating every possible holiday across infinite realities settled over the chamber. Zethkar began to molt again. This time, however, his scales emerged in festive red and green patterns. Merry Christmas, everyone, Sarah said, surrendering completely to the beautiful impossibility of their new reality. The cosmic entities, children, and alien delegates responded in a chorus of voices that resonated across dimensions. Merry Christmas, and Happy New Universe. Outside the station windows, space itself began to sparkle with cosmic Christmas lights as entities throughout the galaxy started their deliveries, spreading joy and friendship to every corner of existence, one present at a time.